Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 21 of Season 4 of the F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, where today we're here back for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Yes, just 2 races to go, and this season is shaping up, for us at least, to be the closest we've ever had in the My Team Career Mode. Obviously, if you missed out on the last video from the Mexican Grand Prix, definitely recommend going back and checking that one out. It was a brilliant race at the Mexican GP circuit, the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. And yeah, this time around though, we head to the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache for the penultimate round of the season. But yeah, spoilers then in 3, 2, 1 now. We sit second in the World Championship, now 9 points behind our teammate Lewis Hamilton with just 2 races to go of the season. If we win both of them, we become World Champion. Simple as that. We do desperately need a win, though, here at Interlagos this weekend, obviously, if we want to be within a good chance of this World Championship still. Bottas in 3rd place. It is officially a 2-horse race. 212 Motorsport will be winning both World Championships once again by the end of this season. But it's a case of which driver is going to be taking it. But yeah, let's dive in then. Round 21 of the season. I want to get this series wrapped up before Christmas. So yeah, we're going to have round 21 today and then hopefully Abu Dhabi tomorrow. So obviously, if you're new around here, make sure you get yourself subscribed as well. But yeah, let's dive into this. Here we are then, ready to start qualifying at the Brazilian Grand Prix, round 21 of the season here. And this track, honestly, one of those ones that's quite difficult to try and get a lap really hooked up around, I seem to find, on F1 2020. You know, as you get towards the end of the season, that's not going to help us out. Straight away, a massive lock-up in towards the first. Well, I've said this track was difficult to get it hooked up on. I wasn't expecting it to be that difficult, as we completely drop it through the first couple of corners. And that's our medium run over before it even began. Take 2 then here at the Brazilian Grand Prix circuit in Q2. Then I was going to say, as you get towards the end of the season, we're really starting to put the car on a bit more of a knife edge. You know, we just need to find every single ounce of pace that we possibly can from it here. So yeah, around Brazil, you sort of feel like you're really just dancing, sort of feathering the throttle in quite a few places. Clearly, the first couple of corners appear to be those places as well on the medium compounded tyres. A lot more grip on the softs, are about half a second faster around a track that's barely over a minute long. Obviously, with all the upgrades we've got on the cars, it is quite insane to see at the moment. But Hamilton and both Mercs seem very quick this weekend again. But like so many times recently, we've seemed to find they're all quick, and then we seem to find to pull out the lap right at the end of Q3. So we'll wait and see as to how this goes. We've got a clear track ahead of us. This lap does need to get us in the top 10. I do want 2 runs in Q3, as that's a bit sloppy down in towards the final few corners of the lap, though. In towards Jungsao, break just after the 100-metre board. We're about half a second up on Lando Norris in P12. We should get a little bit more time out of the final couple of corners here. Up towards start-finish line. What time is it going to be? Going to give ourselves the shortest run. It's going to be a 1:05.3. Slots us in P3, behind Albon and Verstappen. Where on earth have those guys found that sort of pace from then? So maybe Ferrari and Red Bull on the money this weekend as well. There we go, that was actually why then. Hamilton and Bottas have both gone out on soft compound tyres, or medium compound tyres even, sorry. I should say around the halfway stage of that session there. But you can see, despite Hamilton going out on softs at the end, it's only Bottas who makes it through into Q3 on those medium tyres there. So Albon on pole, well, fastest in Q2 there. Daniel Ricciardo not even making it through. He joins both Racing Points, the McLaren and Lando Norris, and both Renaults there falling to the wayside in Q2. But both AlphaTauris once again into Q3 here. Both Ferraris, both Mercedes, both of our cars. And then Albon and Carlos Sainz into Q3. Looking very close though. 0.4 of a second separated, well, half a second separating 1st to 11th. This is going to require an absolutely nailed lap if we want to get a good grid position. Here we go then into Q3 for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Starting to look a bit more overcast. I mean, we've seen it time and time again, how quickly the weather can change around this circuit. So I want to try and get a good bank lap in early on in this session. Brakes so late down in towards the first couple of corners there. Basically took as much curve as I think you're ever going to get away with through the Senna S. But yeah, like I said, we just need to try and get a lap hooked up nice and tidy and see where we end up. Hamilton's already ran a 1:05.4 in the early stages, so clearly back on the money. But if Albon and Verstappen can run their lap times again, maybe we could have a bit of a shot grid for this race. Out of Zhengzhou then, up towards the start-finish line once more. Here at Interlagos, you just feel like you're just watching the clock slowly tick by there. Bottas a 5.0. We run a 5.1, just under a tenth behind the Finn there. But yeah, clearly, there's a lot of other cars that seem very, very quick this weekend. That could have massive implications in mine and Hamilton's title battle. Here we go then, our final chance to get this thing on pole position. We've done it twice in the last 2 Grand Prix, where we've clutched a lap right at the 9 stages of the session here. But I think to try and find another 10th on what was already felt like a pretty decent lap here around Brazil is going to be quite difficult. Could we try and sneak a 1:04 out of the car here? Only time will tell. Down in towards the first corner, a bit tidier through there. Really opens up the run through turn 2 and at turn 3. And already we found a 10th and a half. So all we now need to do is try and match the rest of the lap that we've already got there. That was sort of where I felt I made any sort of mistakes in this session as we head down the hill still in towards what feels like the middle of the bowl that is this Interlagos circuit here. So far so good. Up the hill once again. Keep it tidy. As close to the inside curb on the exit as possible here, and then just through this middle sector, through all these hairpins. You just try not to get any wheel spin through all of these corners. Oh, big lock up there. That's not going to help us out. Russell, a 4.7 though. How has he found the time? Everyone seems to be going quicker and quicker. Right towards the end of this session there, we don't get a good run through Zhengzhou there. We get fairly decent traction on the exit, so everyone seems to be improving at the moment. Bottas does a 4.8 as well there. It's going to be about 3 tenths up at the end of this lap. Can we jump Bottas? I don't think we are. It's going to be a 1:04.865 at the end of qualifying, and that is going to leave us 3rd place on the grid here in Interlagos. So pretty decent from ourselves there.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Russell, Bottas and Mr. Monaco. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Well, there we go then. Qualifying done and dusted for the Brazilian Grand Prix, and Mercedes seem to be the team to beat this weekend. Front row lockout for George Russell and Valtteri Bottas. They're ahead of myself and Lewis Hamilton, so we're not far off the money. But yeah, Pierre Gasly as well, a fantastic job there up in P5 ahead of both Ferraris. Daniel Kvyat as well, they're up in 8th place there. And Albon and Sainz 9th and 10th at the end of Q3 there. But yeah, both Mercedes and ourselves seem to find a lot of time at the end of the session there. And I mean, Red Bull, they've gone from being like real championship threats at the start of this season to now being slower than AlphaTauri. What on earth happens to their development cycle? Anyway though, less worrying about that, more worrying about trying to drag this title fight to the bitter end between myself and Lewis Hamilton. Let's dive in then here for the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to the place where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the final corner. And it's the place, a year later, that Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's Interlagos, and it's time for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7-mile circuit with 9 lefts and 6 rights for a total of 15 corners. The fastest lap today should have an average speed of around 135 miles per hour, if, of course, the weather stays dry until the end of the Grand Prix. Now, Anthony Davidson, I wonder, might we be in for some early pit stops today from the midfield teams, all trying to put some pressure on or disrupting things for the leaders up front?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you got your own race to run. I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies. If you're running 2nd and 3rd, for example, bringing one car in for an undercut while leaving the other one out there longer can put a lot of pressure on the leader and maybe force them into an error.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. George Russell will begin today's event from pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Mr. Monaco, Hamilton, Pierre Gasly and Leclerc, Verstappen, Kvyat, Albon and Carlos Sainz, Ricciardo, Stroll, Sergio Perez and Norris, Ocon, Raikkonen, Jordan King, and Nobuharu Matsushita, Magnussen, De Vries, Giovinazzi, and Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
2 races to go then of the season. Here we are on the grid, ready for the Brazilian Grand Prix. And yeah, this one does mean a whole lot. Hamilton could theoretically wrap up the World Championship today. He needs me to finish 5th or lower. And yeah, he will... No, 6th or lower, even, sorry, I should say. And he would become Formula 1 World Champion for the 8th time in his F1 career. But we're hoping that obviously we can try and close down the gap, even if it's just by a couple of points here today. Mercedes seem very, very quick this weekend. We'll do everything we can just to make sure we finish ahead of our teammate. That is, of course, the first key aim for ourselves. Now, interesting strategy by the team. I personally do believe, actually, the 2-stop might be the way to go this weekend. I don't have much faith in the hard compounded tyres this weekend, so we'll wait and see as to how this one goes. But yeah, we'll go lap 10, lap 25. Oh, we'll have a look how well the first tyres last in this race. We might try and go sort of lap 11, or maybe we might go 12 laps each stint. We'll wait and see. I don't know. We just need to focus on keeping it clean to the first corner and playing our race from there. Maybe Mercedes' race pace isn't as good as their qualifying trim, but we're ready then. Round 21 of the season here from Interlagos. This race really does mean a whole lot. 5 red lights. And it is lights out, and away we go. Off to a good start. Obviously, Bottas starting on those mediums just in front of us as we try... Oh, we're 3 wide in towards first corner, so Hamilton's had a good start. And we have lost the place to Hamilton. We've tried to gain it on Bottas, though, but Hamilton and Russell rocketing out the first couple of corners there. We're under a lot of pressure from Pierre Gasly as we head down in towards turn 4. We need to try and get past Bottas there. He just seems all over the road on the inside. Can we get the run down the hill there? The Mercedes still trying to use all of his deploy and overtake as we head up in towards sector 2. But we get the inside. We force Bottas out. It's been a mare of a start for the Finn, but it's also not been a good start for ourselves there. As Hamilton got up the inside, snuck through at the start of this Grand Prix and moves himself straight up from 4th into 2nd in this race, and already seems to be trying to hound George Russell for the lead of this Grand Prix there. Gasly's had a good start, a bit of 4th place just behind us as well. There is, I think, Bottas, yeah, could be a bit of a dark horse in this Grand Prix on that alternate strategy. But at the final corner, to complete lap 1 though, George Russell leads the way at the front of the field. We are still in P3 though, behind our teammate Lewis Hamilton. Just like Anthony Davidson said before the Grand Prix though, if you've got a car running in P2 and P3, you can try and split the strats, try and force the leader into a mistake here, and that might be what myself and Hamilton have to do there. George Russell, new fast lap of the Grand Prix. We go marginally slower at the end of lap 2, but DRS has now been enabled. That's a lot of curb through turn 2 there. We were, yeah, a bit lucky not to get a warning for that one, I think. But yeah, the gap between the top 3 all within a second. And towards the end of lap 3 though, we've got to try and remember we can't use qualifying lines, you know, qualifying braking points, everything like that, all too much in this Grand Prix. But we have got a decent run on our teammate Lewis Hamilton as we head up to the start-finish line. We desperately need a 9th gear there. New fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well. There's 7.2, and again, fastest lap bonus points could really make the difference come the end of the season for the first time ever in this My Team career mode. But yeah, didn't quite get enough momentum on Hamilton, but he seems to be dropping back from George Russell already in this Grand Prix here, so things might be shaping up good for us. It's so much a matter of the strategy though in this one. We might have to spend a lot of the race hunting these guys back down. Come on, let's get another good run on Hamilton out of Jungsao here. He has got the DRS once again on George Russell, 220 miles an hour as we head up towards turn 1, but we just don't seem to have enough top-end speed. We both seem to be pretty much hitting the rev limiter as we head up towards the end of the start-finish straight there, and yeah, we just can't seem to get close enough early enough to go for anything on our teammate. Fuel as well might be a bit difficult. I've gone very, very aggressive on the fuel this weekend once more, and so far we haven't saved much. Is now going to be the run? We get a decent run on Hamilton again. We seem to be gaining. Hamilton goes defensive this time around. We're a bit closer. We have a look to the outside of our teammate and championship rival there. He squeezes out over the curbs through the first corner. It is still clean between the pair of us. I don't think want to get, you know, sort of Ferrari 2019 style around this circuit, but all it's doing is allowing George Russell to get away, which now might mean Hamilton doesn't have DRS on him, which might make him a bit easier to overtake. Maybe we've accidentally conjured up a good strategy there. Oh, we got yellow flags out in the midfield, who appears to be having issues. Oh, I'm almost the one having issues out through the final corner. It's one of the Haas cars there. I think it's Matsushita. No, it's Magnussen out. And we've got a safety car, so we're going to pit in straight away onto a new set of medium tyres in this Grand Prix there. We're going to take the gamble. But no one else behind us appears to be diving in, so could this be a championship-defining strategy choice by ourselves here? Finally, Max Verstappen's going to the pits as well. Hopefully that's a good sign. One of the racing points is in as well there. I think that's Sergio Perez just behind us. But a 2.2 second stop. We should be able to save a lot of fuel as well. Where are we going to come out in this Grand Prix? We are still battling with the back markers as we head out of the pit lane. Don't hit the wall. So easy to do around this circuit. We almost understeered out into the wall there on pit exit, but we are going to come out just ahead of the Williams, which is kind of critical because you forget just how slow those cars still are at this stage. And yeah, we're back out in P16. With lap 8 then, safety car will be coming into the pits at the end of this one. Why won't the game let me go away? Now the strategy is going to be very, very interesting. We find ourselves right in the mid-pack on this restart. Are we going now? I think we're going. We might have just actually nailed that. As we get close to Matsushita, yes we have, round the outside of Matsushita, as we head back down in towards turn 1, and how on earth have we not had a monster crash there? It's threading the needle between Raikkonen and Jordan King there. How close was that to a monster shunt down in towards the first corner there? Raikkonen gets the move done on Jordan King as well there, and I have got no idea how on earth we've made that work. I'll be honest, I'm genuinely speechless at that one. So George Russell has dived into the pits at the end of lap 9 there. We're still now obviously, well, hopefully we should be up into the net lead of the Grand Prix when everyone does pit, but it's a case of whether they're doing 1 or 2 stops here around Interlagos. Gasly up into P2 of the Grand Prix behind our teammate Lewis Hamilton at the moment. So things looking still good for Lewis, but I mean, with the Constructors' Championship already wrapped up, it's that horrible thing of obviously we want to win races, but I don't want Hamilton to win races at the moment. I need to win them because he's had a fair slice of wins in recent weeks there. And yeah, we need to bounce back this weekend. And to bounce back, first of all, we need to try and get past Esteban Ocon, the young Frenchman, still sat just in front of us as we try to get a good run down in towards the final couple of corners of the lap. Could we go for a move up the inside into Jung Sao? Tiny bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, but we make the move work. Oh, Lando Norris braking a bit earlier than I was expecting there in towards Sector 2, and again we've had another near miss as we try to slice our way back through the pack here. This is where, yeah, again, championships can be won or lost at this late stage of the season. If we lose our front wing, we could very much be out of this. Can we go again? Another move up the inside in towards Jung Sao. It's not quite the common overtaking place, but it's the overtake place that's working for us right now. Up into P10 of the Grand Prix once more. Are we going to see anyone else dive into the pits? No, we're not. George Russell, still the only man after the safety car to dive into the pit lane, so really not too sure what he's thinking. And have I just seen a DRS failure? The DRS is stuck open. This, again, like I've said about so many things in the last couple of laps, this could be World Championship defining. With just 2 races to go of the season, there's no way we're going to be able to hang on to this for 24 laps. We've got to pray that the team get the DRS sorted. This season has taken another dramatic twist here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. And as we head through Sector 2, how bad is the back end going to be? Not too ridiculous so far, but it is going to put a lot more wear through the rear tyres as we try to keep the back end in check. Just luckily at the moment, obviously we can't push the car to the limits. Oh no, the team is saying we need to pit in to fix it, and I'm not sure I want to do that at the moment. I think we're just going to have to try and stay out, I'll be honest. We're going to have to go against the team's wishes at the moment in this Grand Prix. Yeah, I don't know. We haven't lost too much time that lap, I'll be honest, and obviously we're getting all the extra DRS up out of the final corner there. Stroll's going slowly, so we'll try and slot back past these guys up the middle. Try and get round sights as well in towards turn 1. Go around the outside, it gives us the inside for turn 2, and we do make the move work. So up into P8, and yeah, this isn't costing us too much at the moment. It's costing us a lot of tyre wear, But, I mean, we're getting the DRS so early down the straights because of it. It's actually not costing us a huge heap of time. There we go, we've got a few more cars into the pit lane. At the end of lap 14, team's still wanting us to pit in, but to be honest, I want to wait till after Hamilton's pit to assess how big the gap is. Team is still saying pit lap 24. I personally want to go on to mediums when we have to box in soon. But yeah, I want to go the lap after Hamilton just to see what the gap's like. There we go, Hamilton into the pit lane. That means Valtteri Bottas is going to inherit the lead off the Grand Prix, and all these guys have been able to go so deep into the race. Oh, excuse me, on their soft compounded tyres. But yeah, we're going to pit the end of this one then. Bottas 6 seconds up the road. But yeah, we're going to go mediums again. We might have to try and drag these out to the end of the Grand Prix now, as Hamilton, yeah, is going to come out in a bit of traffic behind George Russell, though. Most importantly as well there, because I feel like, again, this race might end up being damage limitation here. Is F1 just trying to tell me something? Is this just not going to be a year we can win the World Championship? There we go, Bottas in at the end of lap 15 here. So we're going to have to dive in as well. Hopefully they can fix this DRS. Make sure we don't speed on the way in. That would very much be the final nail in the coffin here. But can the team fix our rear wing there? Bottas has gone back out into hards to the end of the Grand Prix. So we're going to have to be very, very optimistic and careful on this stint. Are the team going to try and do anything? 1.9 seconds stop. The DRS isn't fixed. What on earth is that by the team? As we head back out of the pit lane here, they have not been able to fix the DRS. I know we've only ever had one failure like that on F1 2020 prior to now, and it didn't work then. And once again, the DRS stuck open, and we're just going to have to go to the end of the... Well, we're going to have to attempt to go to the end of this race without a working DRS, and it's, yeah, still jammed wide open.
Your DRS is offline. The rear wing is down, so you can stay out while we work on a fix.
Now the team is saying it's stuck down. The DRS is definitely wide open at the moment, Jeff. I don't know why on earth you think it's down. Perhaps that's why we're not having issues. Maybe, is it a graphical bug? I'm so confused right now. I mean, I know what we need to do, and it's just get laps in done quickly. But yeah, this is very, very strange. There we go, new fast lap of the Grand Prix. We've got another pitter in at the end of lap 17 there. I think that was it Lance Stroll? I'm not 100% sure. It was either Stroll or Perez, of course. But yeah, now, with the added DRS that we seem to still be getting a really good run on Albon. Down in towards turn 4. Oh, lucky for us, he locked up on the way in, clearly panicking at the dive bomb attempt by ourselves, and we're back up into 9th.
Pace and fuel settings, we won't have enough fuel for the end of the race. Consider lowering the fuel mix.
The team's still worried about fuel at the moment, but to be honest, we're pretty good on that front as well. But yeah, it's just through this middle sector when we're stuck behind another car. Obviously, you lose a lot of downforce at the front, and you lose even more at the back. So things, yeah, not fun through the middle sector, and obviously that just means as well we're destroying the tyres, as that is the first sort of big snap we've had thanks to this DRS. Can we get a run at the final corner on Danny Kvyat? I mean, are you even allowed to run in Formula 1 with your DRS stuck wide open? I mean, around Monza at the moment, this would be completely OP. There's Danny Kvyat, very, very big squeeze as we head up towards the start-finish line there. I thought he spotted us on the inside, but clearly not. But we made it work. There we go. 3 more cars into the pits. Russell, Perez, and Max Verstappen back into the pit lane there. So all the guys that have already gone for some weird and wonderful strategies this weekend. So I think George Russell, it was looking so good, but it's gone so badly for the Mercedes man, as again we almost bit it. Heading out the first few corners there. Hamilton now up into the lead of the Grand Prix, but Bottas on the same strategy. Still looking like he could beat our teammate here. Fair play to Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly. They are hanging on to Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas at the front of the field here. Gasly, if those two came together, could still win this Grand Prix at the moment. The same can be said for Leclerc if those guys came together and Leclerc managed to sneak by. But yeah, they are doing a fantastic job hanging on with them as we're just slowly trying to take just little bits of time out of them lap after lap. I just pray that we get this DRS working again, because it's definitely starting to cost us more and more time, and it's definitely shredding the rubber more than normal. At the final corner to finish off lap 22. Obviously we're getting the DRS so early. No, it's working. Is the DRS working? It's working. Look at that. We've got DRS back in this Grand Prix as soon as we make a move on Charles Leclerc there as we head down in towards turn 1. The monogas driver holds the nose at the inside, but again, we'll have the inside for turn 2, and now we can fight, now we can push towards the end of this Grand Prix here. This is not over just yet. I refuse to give up on this World Championship bout just yet this season, but the tyres are going to be hanging on by a thread come the end of this race, if they even survive. Really trying to push now, trying to get a run on Gasly as we head in towards the final third of this Grand Prix here. Can we try and get a run on the AlphaTauri? He's been so quick all day long. I can't help but feel he does deserve a podium. But we've got a World Championship to battle for, buddy, so I'm sorry. We'll see you later. We'll see you at the checkered flag. Maybe we'll buy him a drink after the Grand Prix there if he hangs on to it. But yeah, now, just behind Bottas and Hamilton in this race here with 12 laps to go from Interlagos. Everything that the game could throw at us, it has done so far today. But we're now 1 second off the race lead, and this is not over. Of Jungsao, we're about halfway through this stint, and all the tyres are not going to be looking good come the end of this Grand Prix here. They're already very, very worn out. We have got to remember, though, they did do a lot of laps without a working DRS, but all over the back of Bottas. Oh, he locks up in towards turn 1. He still tries to turn in on me. Won't be having that, thank you very much, and now we're just 1 place away from the race lead, and there is one man that separates us from that race lead, and it is the one man we desperately need to beat this weekend. Hamilton and I, we've got 10 laps to go to the end of this one. We're both on old rubber. His a bit newer than mine, his a bit better condition than mine, and his looking like it should last a whole lot better to the end of the Grand Prix, but we're not giving up on Hamilton without DRS. Surely we can get close to him towards the start-finish line here. We're gaining 220 miles an hour to the outside of our teammate Hamilton, having absolutely none of it in towards the first corner there as he just about holds on in front. I think Jeff got a bit confused and thought we'd managed to complete the move at the end of that lap, but Hamilton still, as we head down, almost a big crash there, just the same as Ferrari did back in 2019. Hamilton just hangs us out to dry on the exit of the corner there, and it's clear he knows how much this win will mean to the pair of us come the end of the season. It's a 14-point swing either way, whoever takes this. So this has got big implications behind it, but hopefully we can try and get a move done and then just pray that we can keep it at arm's length down the straights, down in towards the final couple of corners of lap 28 here. Just 8 laps to go here from this Brazilian Grand Prix. The team telling us we just need to keep care of the rubber, and yeah, we are certainly going to be doing that towards the end of this race. Have we now got a bit of a run on our fellow Englishman as we head up towards the start-finish line? Hamilton, he's going to once again go defensive, or once again move to the outside, but this time round we get the nose cleanly in front, turn into the apex, and we're now up into the lead of this Brazilian Grand Prix for I think the first time today, in fact. But now, yeah, the question is, can we keep Hamilton at arm's length, or will he just have a bit more power, a bit more straight line speed, a bit more ERS to get back past us? Oh, Hamilton's got a good run up the hill in towards turn 5. Is he going to be able to hook it up round the outside? He's going to keep the nose there. And don't say Hamilton's going to mug us off just like he did back at Kota earlier on this season. Try and hook it up still side by side. Oh, Hamilton completely swings across us there on the exit of the corner. A lot of wheel-to-wheel contact between the pair of us. Not happy with our teammate with those sorts of antics, but Lewis Hamilton back into the lead of this Brazilian Grand Prix once more there, but hopefully it means that we can get a run at the final corner. So early on the throttle, just trying to really drag it out as much as possible here. Still Bottas and Gasly waiting in the wings in the Mercedes and AlphaTauri there. Hamilton again goes defensive. We'll go further to the inside, skimming the inside wall as we head in towards turn 1 there, but Hamilton will have the inside for turn 2. Can we hook it up? Yes, we can, and we're back up into the lead of this Grand Prix there, but is Hamilton going to get the run down in towards turn 4 here? Looks like Bottas is going to try and make something work as well, but almost 3 wide in towards sector 2 there. Hamilton bails out on the inside there. He clearly didn't feel comfortable. He clearly felt like he was going to get pinched in that situation, and now Bottas becomes the biggest threat behind us as we head up the hill here. Once again, this race, this whole season has delivered so much action. And I mean, the last 2 races have had brilliant final couple of laps, and it looks like Interlagos is going to be no different. Oh, Bottas has got a good run like Hamilton did Up towards turn 5. Oh no, this time around we run deep though through the corner, and Bottas is going to move up into the lead of this Brazilian Grand Prix with 3.5 laps to go here. We can't afford to take risks in those situations. All we can do is try and counter out on the straightaways there, and the team's absolutely right. We need to stay on, need to concentrate, need to focus. We've got 3 laps to go here. From Brazil, Hamilton drops back a huge amount as we head in towards the final couple of quarters of the lap there. Not too sure what's going on for our teammates. Again, a lot of wheel spin out of the final proper corner of the lap. Are we going to be able to get back past Valtteri Bottas as we head up towards the start-finish line there? The Mercedes man, we're going to move to the inside. He's got no top-end speed to really counter it down in towards turn 1. It's just a case of when we're using our overtake between the pair of us, and we're back up into the lead of the Grand Prix once again. Oh, Bottas has got a good run as we head out onto lap 35. There's a bit of contact between the pair of us there. I didn't realise just how aggressively we were squeezing Mercedes on the outside there, and he returns the favour as we head through the first couple of corners, then moves back up into the lead of this Grand Prix once again there. But can we get a run down the hill in towards turn 4? Yes, we can. To the outside, cleanly all the way in front once again, and no matter what Bottas does, we've got something to counter him with. But will he get the run? Will he try and use more of his overtake up the hill? He'll certainly try it, but we hold on for now. 1 lap to go then here from the Brazilian Grand Prix, and honestly, I'd argue this has been one of the most difficult on F1 2020 so far. It has thrown up so much, this Grand Prix. Everything that it could do to try and give Hamilton the upper hand at this late stage of the season. But we haven't given up just yet. There's still 1 more lap to make a mistake, to lose the place for Hamilton, as Bottas again tries to get a good run down in towards turn 4. We'll squeeze him to the inside. Is Bottas going to be able to make the move work? Yes, he does. Diving it up the inside is Valtteri Bottas there as Hamilton behind us. Tried to be optimistic, tried to go for something. We'll come back at him. Up in towards turn 5, the fin, and we do just about hold it around the outside. Does Valtteri Bottas as we head through sector 2, and once again, final laps in this career mode are still delivering there. Bottas tries to give us a squeeze as we head still side by side towards the end of the middle sector here. Hamilton's trying to keep his nose in. We just about hook it up around the outside of Bottas, but does that mean he's going to get a run at the final corner? We've got a little bit of overtake still, a little bit of rich revs as we try to get the traction at the final corner here. We'll go wide, try and break the toe as much as we can on Valtteri Bottas there. It's going to be incredibly close, but despite everything, it is going to be the win here in Brazil. That means we drag the title fight on.
You worked hard for that one. Congratulations.
That's a spectacular victory then, and with it, the championship is secure. It's been a magnificent season, and they thoroughly deserve the cheers of the crowd here today. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions, and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today, and the results speak for themselves.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One. So let's review the updated drivers' standings. Mr. Monaco takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Mr. Monaco. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
The Constructors' Championship may be a foregone conclusion at the moment, but regardless, let's look at the standings. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And honestly, yeah, I think that's probably the best performance we've had in this entire series up to this point now. We take the win by just 1/10 of a second over Valtteri Bottas there. Not the closest finish we've had in this season, but I mean 5 cars separated by 1.5 seconds at the checkered flag there. That one was absolutely insane at the end of the day there. 5 cars from 4 different teams with 4 different power units, managing to drag it right to the bitter end here in Brazil there. And yeah, with the fast lap bonus point as well, means we re-inherit the lead of the Drivers' World Championship there. Bottas comes through for P2 in the end. I'm sure he's gutted not to win that one there. As yeah, Mercedes race pace not quite as good as their qualifying trim there. Hamilton P3 ahead of Pierre Gasly, Charles Leclerc, Albon, Kvyat, Sainz, Norris and Ricciardo rounding out the top 10 there. And yeah, I think Gasly definitely my driver of the day there as well, to hang on that well in a car that's performed that poorly this season. Could they potentially drag the Constructors' battle on as well there? Perez just missed that ahead of George Russell, who had, yeah, a torrid day out down in P12 there. They just didn't get the strategy right, Mercedes, for him there. But no other major surprises looking at it. Yeah, the Alphas, the Williams and the Haas down at the rear of the field there, with the Renaults once again not performing. I guess the only other major surprise was obviously Max Verstappen, but again, he was on that butchered strategy with Russell and Perez as well there. In terms of the Drivers' World Championship, 1 race to go, 2 points in it between myself and Lewis Hamilton here. The finale, like I said, will hopefully be live tomorrow. So obviously, if you aren't already, make sure you get yourself subscribed. You definitely do not want to be missing out on that. I'm sure it is going to be an absolute cracker as well there. So obviously, yeah, thank you as well for 13,500 subscribers recently. We're almost actually up to 13,600 now. We've had some really, really good growth so far in December. So yeah, I cannot thank you guys enough for the continued support. In 2021, I've got a lot of cool plans. Hopefully, you guys are going to stick around for that as well there. But Bottas still in P3. George Russell and Albon, though, tied for 4th place overall as we head in towards the final race of the season there. So that's going to be another battle I would definitely keep your eyes on as well there. Gasly, with that brilliant result, jumps back past Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen there in the battle of best of the rest as well. There's Ricciardo sort of in a lonely 6th place at this stage of the season there. Lando Norris still in P11 there ahead of Perez and Daniel Kvyat there, with Ocon, Stroll, Magnussen, Kimi Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Nick de Vries, Jordan King, Matsushita and Latifi rounding out the order there. And constructors-wise, though, Ferrari do make the jump on McLaren there. 4 points between those two teams. Are Ferrari finally starting to show some resemblance of the team we once knew in this sport there? Obviously, we'll have to wait and see in the final few races of this season there. But yeah, 4 points between them and McLaren. I mean, if AlphaTauri have another brilliant weekend like that and Ferrari struggle, maybe, just maybe, AlphaTauri could nab that P4 come the end of the season there. Racing Point and Renault, yeah, still 7th and 8th, pretty much looking solidified there. Haas and Williams and Alfa Romeo, unless there's a miracle in the final race, looking very much set in stone as well there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, do make sure you leave a like and get yourself subscribed. And yeah, we will be back very, very soon for the finale of Season 4 of the F1 My Team Career Mode. You guys do not want to miss it. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.